coordinating an upcoming fundraising event for EPIC, that's Environmental Protection in the Caribbean. Environmental Protection in the Caribbean is desperately trying to find funds to purchase a sewage pump-out boat for the Simpson Bay Lagoon. I now turn it over to Mr. Mark Yokoyama, who will explain more about this upcoming fundraising event.
Okay, this afternoon, Nature Watch is speaking with Mark Yokoyama, and he's coordinating an event, and it's a fundraising event for environmental protection in the Caribbean for Love the Lagoon project. Good afternoon, Mark. Welcome to Nature Watch.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here.
Mark, tell our listeners a little bit more about this fundraising event. I understand it's for a sewage pump-out boat. I guess you'll first have to explain to our listeners, what is a sewage pump-out boat?
For sure. So a sewage pump-out boat is basically, it's a mobile pump-out station that boat owners in the lagoon can call up by phone or by VHF radio, and they can go to the boat and pump out the sewage from the boat and take that sewage to be treated rather than dumping it in the lagoon.
Okay, and I understand that this fundraising event is for EPIC to purchase such a pump-out boat, and you will be targeting more the smaller boats. How does that work? Explain to our listeners also about the water treatment facility, how that works on the various boats.
Yeah, so the really big boats you see out in the bay and the marina typically have their own wastewater treatment facility on board, but the smaller yachts typically do not. Right now, it's very difficult for them because in order to responsibly dispose of their wastewater, they either have to come all the way to a marina and get space and pay a lot of money to do that, or they have to wait for the drawbridges to open and go out to sea to dispose of their waste. Both of those are very inconvenient for people. And EPIC had actually done a survey a few years ago targeting small boat owners and found that most of them, if there was an affordable option that could come to their boat, more than 70% of people said that they would much rather do that than dump wastewater in the lagoon.
Okay, so they're admitting, and we're talking about the medium-sized and smaller-sized boats, sailboats and other boats, they're admitting that they would rather pay than to dump it for free in a lagoon or outside in the ocean.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely more a matter of the logistics and convenience of being able to do it because, obviously if you're on a boat in the lagoon, you want the lagoon to be clean. So the target audience for this service is actually very willing to use the service and very interested in using it if it's available. And so we want to make that service available to these people.
Okay. And how is this event fitting in with any of the marinas? Are they receptive? Are they doing this in partnership with you as the coordinator for this event?
Yeah, right now we're working, trying to work with all the marinas. The event itself will be held at Ile de Sol, and so they, that company has Ile de Sol and the Simpson Bay Marina, and we're talking with all the marinas. A key way to make this a success long-term is to have the marinas encouraging as much as they can the boats that are there to use the service. And I think that the marinas have had a long relationship with EPIC, and I think that they all are interested in doing this.
Okay, to be clear for the listeners, so basically environmental protection in the Caribbean cannot force the boats to use the sewage pump-out boat, but the marinas can help by encouraging them to use it.
Exactly, and I think it's definitely possible that once such a boat exists, there's potential that the government could try to put an ordinance in effect that would require the use. Obviously, it's not practical to do that until there's a good option for doing it. So, I don't think that that's not in the cards right now, but having the facility available is perhaps a good step towards getting the momentum to actually make it a requirement of being in the lagoon.
Okay, so how much is such a pump-out boat going to cost, and so how much are you going to try to raise?
The total cost we're looking at right now is about $40,000. Now we have already funds that have been donated for the pump itself, and so we have, I would say, roughly about $10,000 already pledged for the project. So we're going to try to raise as much of the rest of the money as we can, which is primarily going to the purchase of the boat that will be holding the pump and will be actually doing the operation.
And eventually, of course, cleaning up the lagoon. You know, less pollution will be getting into the lagoon this way.
Yes, exactly. I mean, obviously there's pollution coming both from the land and from the boats in the lagoon. And this doesn't address the pollution on the land. But, you know, there are a lot of boats in the lagoon, and the cumulative effect of even these smaller boats, which aren't, each individual boat is not producing that much waste, but there are a lot of them. So reducing that, the water-based pollution should have like a noticeable impact on the water quality in the lagoon.
Right, and that'll be mostly, I guess, most of the boats are there in the high season, which is anywhere between December and April. That's when you get so many boats in the lagoon. I think that'll be the key time where the sewage pump-out boat will be working very frequently. Now, tell us more about this fundraiser. When is it going to be? Where will it be held? And what do you want our listeners to do?
Well, I want everyone to come to the event. It's going to be at the Sandbar at Ile de Sol, and it's going to be on Saturday, April 2nd, starting at 7 p.m. In order to attend, we do have to have a guest list at the security station in front, so I do need people to RSVP, and you know, before the event, they can email Mark, M-A-R-K, at epicislands.org. They can also visit the epicislands.org website in order to find out more and to get my email to RSVP. We're going to have Simple Stand. They're a great local reggae band. DJ Merck, who's often at Privé on Fridays, is going to DJ later on in the night. We're going to try and have a lot of educational information out there. I just was speaking with Christophe and Hervé over at the Marigot Museum and the Heritage Magazine, and they're going to put together a whole bunch of photos of the lagoon over the years, which I think will be really interesting for people to see if they haven't seen those photos of how the lagoon used to look. So we're going to try to make it educational and fun. And we'll have raffle and silent auction. So we're starting to get a lot of local businesses donating, you know, gift certificates at some of the restaurants, some books. Nahizi House, I actually am donating some copies of my book.
Which book is that, Mark?
That's The Incomplete Guide to the Wildlife of St. Martin. You know, the Hotel Esplanade in Grand Cas is going to donate a free stay for the silent auction. So I think there'll be a lot of cool, you know, prizes and stuff, and it's good to see everyone getting involved. Obviously, when you approach, you know, the restaurant owners on the lagoon, they're very receptive to the idea of reducing the waste because it makes the dining experience there better for them, and you know they you know just care a lot about that area. So I would encourage people to come, spread the word about it. You can also find Epic on Facebook, and you can RSVP for the event there. And if you are not able to come and are still interested, you can also donate at the Epic site and at the Epic Facebook page.
Okay.
So there's a lot of ways to be involved.
So April 2nd, you're saying, Ile de Sol, the Sandbar.
Yes.
And it's at 7 o'clock. Am I correct?
Exactly.
Okay, so just get many people out there, and do they have to bring anything particular with them? Some money for the silent auctions and for other things?
Good question. We do have a $10 suggested donation. I don't want that to discourage anyone from attending the event because we want to have people there. And yeah, there will be a raffle and silent auction. So if you want to participate in that, I mean, we can also get people's names and phone number if you're doing the silent auction and you don't have the money there, so you don't have to worry about bringing a lot of money with you, and because you don't have to actually necessarily pay for an item that you won right at that moment,
Okay, so there's a suggested fee of $10. And listeners, you can find the Epic on Facebook. And there's a website also, you said, right?
Yeah, their website is www.epicislands.org.
Okay, and Mark, you can be reached at what number?
My number is 0690-885642, and you can call me if you're interested in participating, donating to the event, or you want to RSVP. Just give me a buzz.
Okay. Mark, I wish you much success. We all need a cleaner lagoon, so I encourage all our listeners to go out and support EPIC, the Environmental Protection in the Caribbean, with this particular project and trying to raise funds for a sewage pump-out boat. Thanks again, Mark.
Thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you at the party.